Hello, what's up, y'all? This is your boy Omson the Real. Hey, what's going on, guys? Well, I plan to hope that this video reaches y'all the best of health, in the best of mind, and of course, in the best of spirits. Man, yesterday I kept scrolling through the news feed of my Facebook profile, and right there I came across the video of this Algerian female supporter. As you guys know, there's this Africa Cup of Nations taking place right now in the Ivory Coast, and people from all over Africa, people of every African country have traveled to the Ivory Coast to support their respective football teams. So there is this Algerian woman who also traveled, of course, to the Ivory Coast to support the national team of Algeria, which is called the Phoenix. So this woman has made a video. She went live while in the town, in the Ivorian town where the national team of Algeria are staying, which is Bouaké. Bouaké is, of course, Ivorian town where the national team of Algeria are staying during this Africa Cup of Nations. So this Algerian woman, Algerian female supporter, or a female supporter of this Algerian team, who goes by the name Sophia Ben Leman. Sophia Ben Leman went live on Facebook from this Ivorian town called Bouaké, where the Algerian national team is staying. So she went live from that Ivorian town and kind of filmed some place where the infrastructure doesn't look so good. You understand? And in that video, she compared that place to her country, Algeria. You understand? To her country, Algeria, and she made some comments that the Algerian authorities deemed to be somewhat inappropriate, disrespectful. You understand? Inappropriate and disrespectful, and also insulting to Ivory Coast and to the Ivorian people. So here is the story of Sophia. Here is the story of Sophia Beleman. I want to read to you guys the full story, and of course I will also read to you guys the things she has said that the Ivorian people, the Ivorian authorities deemed to be disrespectful, insulting, or inappropriate, and which of course led to the deportation of the particular female Algerian supporter. So we will read the story together, and then I will share with you guys my thoughts on this particular situation of this Algerian female supporter who goes by the name Sophia Beleman. And then you guys also can share with me your thoughts in the comment space, what you guys think. So here we go. Now we read the story of this lady together. Sophia Beleman, Algerian supporter expelled from the Ivory Coast. Arriving in Ivory Coast to support the Phoenix, the Algeria's national team. Sophia Beleman, an Algerian supporter, was expelled from the Ivory Coast after being questioned by the police. She is accused of statements deemed offensive that she allegedly made on social media networks about this country, about the Ivory Coast. Sophia Beleman found herself at the heart of a thorny controversy a few days after the start of the CAN 2023. After the broadcast of a video on social media networks. Indeed, in her live broadcast, Sophia Beleman made inappropriate comparisons between Ivory Coast and Algeria, mocking Ivorian infrastructure and calling them archaic, while suggesting that Algeria's place is in Europe. These statements broadcast live on Facebook from Bouaké, the town, like I was saying, the town where the national team of Algeria is currently accommodated in the Ivory Coast, where the Algerian selection resides for this 34th edition of the African Cup of Nations, triggered a wave of indignation on social networks. This is how investigations were carried out by the Ivorian authorities to find her. She was then detained by the police over the video before being expelled from Côte d'Ivoire, the Ivory Coast, of course, with a ban on returning to the Ivory Coast. Well, as you guys have heard in the story, this woman had traveled from Algeria to the Ivory Coast to support the national team of Ivory Coast, just like all other Africans who had, you know, the economic or financial capacity to travel to the Ivory Coast to support their national team. She also traveled to the Ivory Coast to support the national team of Algeria. So while in Bouaké, the town where the national team of Algeria is accommodated, Bouaké is of course Ivorian town. So while in Bouaké, these women went live on Facebook and some other social media networks. She went live and broadcasted a video showing some places of Ivory Coast, or some places of Bouaké, the city where she is, the Ivorian town where she is, showing some places of the infrastructure of that place there that doesn't look so good. Not only that, but she made a comment making the country Ivory Coast and making the country's infrastructure, you understand, and went as far as saying that Algeria's place is not in Africa. You understand? Algeria cannot be compared to any black African country. Algeria can only be compared to Europe. You understand? Algeria's place is only in Europe.
يحصل على باقي دول افريقيا. يا تحية الجزائر، نحمدوا ربي، نحمدوا ربي اللي عندنا بلاد كيما الجزائر. نحمدوا حنا نورمالمون على بالكم وين رانا حنا نورمالمون الجزائر موجودة في الخريطة بين البرتغال واسبانيا. باسكو هنا عايشين واحد المعيشة، وكون وريت لكم انا سجلت لا فيديو في الليل كي كنت بين في لاكار يا ودي العصر الحجري وقليل. والله العظيم وكان جا عندي حكم صغير هكذا برك شويه، عندي البوفار، اقسم بالله العظيم غير نبعث المواطن جزائري. مره فاتت قلت لكم في الكاميرون، الاخر المهم تجي تشوف برك الكوت ديفوار، هذه في ابي يحصر على باقي دول افريقيا. يا تحيه الجزائر، نحمدوا ربي، نحمدوا ربي اللي عندنا بلاد كيما الجزائر. نحمدوا حنا نورمالمون على بالكم وين رانا حنا نورمالمون الجزائر موجوده.
After the Ivorian people came across this video they deemed it to be disrespectful or mocking or, I don't know, inappropriate. They notified their authorities that there is this particular Algerian female supporter who made a video on Facebook mocking the infrastructure of our countries, you understand, of our country, and also suggesting that Algeria's place is supposed to be in Europe, not in Africa. Because Algeria's infrastructure is much improved, much better than black African countries' infrastructures. You understand? So the authorities now investigated the women or the video, and then went after the lady. They found the lady, they detained her, and later on they deported her back to Algeria. And also they put a ban on the lady to never return back to the Ivory Coast. She can never go back to the Ivory Coast again. You understand? Now, this is the story of the lady. Now, I want to share with you guys what I personally believe. Whether I believe the lady was wrong or she was right, or whether I think the Algerian authorities or the Ivorian authorities, whether I think the Ivorian authorities went too far with it for deporting the lady. You understand? So, my fellow Africans, precisely black Africans, don't you think that with all the natural wealth of our countries, yes, our countries are much richer than the Arab African countries, the black African countries, in terms of natural resources, are much richer than these Arab African countries. But somehow, the Arab African countries, the infrastructure, the environment, and the cleanness of the environment, they are much advanced than the countries of us black Africans. They are much advanced than the countries of us black Africans. Yes, what she said is 200% true. Algeria can only be compared to European countries. Not only Algeria, all the Arab countries, they can only be compared to European countries. The Arab countries, okay, why is it that black Africans, Ivorians, Malians, etc., Nigerians, people from all over black Africa, why do you run to the Arab countries to go and look for better wages, better workers, and better paying jobs? Why? Because their countries are better than our countries. Their countries are better than our countries. Despite our countries being the richest in terms of natural resources, the Arab African countries are much developed, much advanced than our countries, and on every level. You understand? So if someone come and point this out, why do we get angry at that person? Why do we think that the person is disrespectful? The person didn't lie. The person only talking of what she has seen. She has seen something, and she's talking about. Instead of you getting angry at this lady for pointing out what's wrong with your infrastructure, you should revolt against your own self instead. You should revolt against your governments. And this is exactly why the Ivorian government and the Ivorian authorities felt alarmed by her video. They understand that she's talking of something that could cause the Ivorians to revolt, to ask themselves, why is it that we are all in the same continent? In fact, our country is richer than Algeria on every level. Why is it that the infrastructure in Algeria is much better than ours? That means our government is not doing their job. Where is the money of our wealth going? The cocoa, the petroleum, and the other natural resources of Ivory Coast. Where is the money going? Like all other black African countries. This is the questions you should ask yourself. If your government deports the lady, not because the lady disrespected the country. No, because the lady has shown the worthlessness of the governments of black African countries. This is the reason why the government has deported the lady. It's not because of she disrespected the country or the government or the people of the country. She didn't insult anybody. She only made a comparison between her country and a particular country where she visited. The people are, the Ivorian people and the black African people generally supposed to appreciate this lady. You're supposed to appreciate the lady instead of being so alarmed against her, feeling disrespected by the truth she has said. So to me personally, the lady didn't supposed to get deported. She didn't supposed to get deported. She didn't say anything wrong. She didn't even supposed to get investigated for this. The French journalists, they go all over Africa, reporting a mess. This is this, this is that, this is that. Although their governments are behind all the dictatorships and the worthless leadership on the African continent, the French journalists and TV reporters, they go to Africa. They report sickness, diseases, and lies about our respective countries. About our respective countries. Nobody ever catches them and put them in jail or deport them. But a poor Algerian lady who saw something wrong with a particular town where she is in 2023, the infrastructure in 2023 in Bouake is not supposed to be this. It's supposed to be much developed. But sadly, it is not because of poor and bad leadership. You understand? And this lady, all she did is to point out that. And to take this lady and deport her back to her country. No, I tell the Ivorian authorities to really apologize to this lady and compensate this lady. Because she did nothing wrong. All she said is the truth. And to the African people, the mass of the African people, I have read your comments on social media, on Facebook in particular. Most of you are kind of saluting the Ivorian government or thanking the Ivorian government for deporting this lady. What you are supposed to be doing is to thank this lady for exposing something that in 2023 don't supposed to exist in the Ivory Coast or any other black African country, which is a poor environment, poor infrastructure, no hospitals, no dignified schools, no roads, nothing. Not only in Ivory Coast, all over Africa is like this. So we the African people, if someone comes from another place and point finger to us, we should stand with that person. Instead of revolting against that person or being angry with that person, what you should do is to revolt against our governments and ask them, why is it that Algeria infrastructure is much improved, much better than the infrastructure of our countries. So this is my thought. This is what I believe regarding this issue of these Algerian women who got deported from the Ivory Coast. I believe the Ivorian authorities are wrong. I believe that the African people, instead of thanking the Ivorian authorities for deporting this lady, they should be revolting against the Ivorian government and all other black African governments and ask them the simple question: why is it that the Arab African countries are much advanced, much developed than our countries? What are we doing wrong? So fellas, we have come to the end of this video. I hope that you guys have learned one or two from this video. Let me repeat it again. The Ivorian woman, the Algerian woman did nothing wrong. The Ivorian authorities are very wrong for deporting this lady. She did not insult anybody. She did not disrespect anybody. She only saw a particular infrastructure or a particular thing in a particular country and compared it to her country. And she's right. She is right. Well, you guys let me know in the comment space what you guys think of the situation of this Ivorian lady. Was she wrong for pointing out the poor infrastructure that she has seen in the Ivory Coast or comparing it to her country? Was she wrong? Or is it the Ivorian authorities that were wrong for deporting this lady out of their insecurity? Peace up, guys. Until next time, see y'all again.